Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another issue of Mortal Realms magazine. As per usual, if you like these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment down below. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we're on issue 40 this week, so we are really getting through them. Halfway through the series of magazines and halfway through this video series. So, with this issue, we get a Knight-Azyros, or it can also be made into a Knight-Venator. So a really highly detailed model. If you're in the UK, this model is normally 25 quid, so it is worth picking up the magazine for 8 quid, less than half the price of what this model would be. So 100% worth it. Definitely worth picking up 1 or 2 issues, so you can make a couple of them. So why not? Inside we are greeted by the Knight-Azyros page. So the Knight-Azyros carries Sigmar's light from the celestial realm of Azyr to the darkest reaches of the mortal realms. They are emissaries and diplomats as well as warriors. They are responsible for forging vital alliances and gathering the forces of order under Sigmar's banner. So the whole idea behind the Knight-Azyros is they have 2 roles, the first role being that they are emissaries and diplomats, and their secondary role of being a warrior, and a mighty skilled warrior of that, and a formidable opponent to any kind of foes that he may encounter. So they are really good, and they are very well suited to being scouts as well, because they are on wings, so they can fly over potential battlefields and scout enemies ahead. So really cool stuff to learn a bit more about them. You can also find out about the magical weapons that they carry, which is known as a Starblade. So these razor sharp weapons are forged to be light while still remaining deadly. Though their blades are long, Starblades are well balanced and can be wielded in one hand, leaving the Knight-Azyros's other hand free to bear a celestial beacon. So really cool information on these guys, but as I say, this also makes a second model, which is the Knight-Venator. So Knights-Venator are masters of a ranged kill. Each of these warriors is possessed of a swiftness that no mortal can match. In a single blur of movement they can let fly whole flurries of arrows. Each volley is launched with unerring accuracy, finding the target's weak spots to bring swift death. So highly skilled warriors as well with these guys. They carry these awesome star bows, these realm hunter bows. They also have an enchanted quiver, so they never actually run out of arrows fully, as long as that enchantment stays strong. And they also are accompanied by a star eagle. So really interesting to have these models. So yeah, as I say, it's worth picking up 2 copies of the magazine just to get both models, because both are going to be very handy to have it in your Stormcast army. 100% worth it. I definitely would. Into this section we've got some more information about the Nighthaunt and the history of the Nighthaunt. So we have the Emerald Host. Wreathed in green bale flame and led by a terrifying spectral cavalry, the Emerald Host is sent forth by Lady Elinda to destroy her most hated foes. With siphoned talon they tear at the souls of the living. In their path lie the corpses of their victims, faces contorted with heart-stopping fear. Such is the fate of all who defy the Veiled Lady and refuse to bend to the will of Nagash. So, the Mortarch of Grief, the good old Lady Elinda, commanding her Emerald Host, she must, and she does, like to force through and kind of destroy anything in her path. So, bit of information about Lady Elinda. So, in life, Lady Elinda rose to power through treachery and deceit. Upon being cursed by Nagash, she rose to power once more, this time at the head of an army of wraiths. Now that she has been elevated to Mortarch of Grief, her ambition knows no bounds. Those that stand in her way feel the full wrath of the Emerald Host. But then you've got a bit of information about Garest Malkor, so part of the story behind Elinda as well. So Garest Malkor was one of those who plotted against Elinda. Elinda was able to sway the young noble to her cause with the promises of marriage. He betrayed his allies who were slain or imprisoned, Lady Alinda, however, had no intention of sharing power and had him killed. Nagash raised the slain noble as a Knight of Shrouds, and he now leads the Emerald host. So, although he was betrayed by Lady Alinda, he has been kind of risen and elevated to the ranks to lead the Emerald host under the command of Lady Alinda as well. So they are really, really cool. And then you've got some of the hex wraiths down at the bottom as well, which are really, really good. So yeah, at some point we're going to get some of these models as well, which will be quite cool and a good addition to the armies for the Nighthaunt that we have. So there is some really, really good stuff with all of this. Your how to build guide, in all honesty, the Knight-Azyros is a more complicated Stormcast model than we normally get, so it is, make sure you read through all of this because you are going to probably need it. Do sub-assemblies for your painting though, because otherwise your painting will be a pain in the ass, because then wings are pretty big and they'll be a bit awkward if you put them onto the back, because you're not going to be able to get in towards the back very easily to get all that detail in. If you want to go really fine detail, is entirely up to you. And you've got loads of little kind of additions to add on to it as well, so things like the blade, different shoulder pads can be added, so you've got 2 different shoulder pads for one of the shoulders that you can use if you wish to. One is meant to be more for the Knight-Venator than it is meant to be for the Knight-Azyros, so entirely up to you. Have fun with it, just be careful of course, because it will be slightly fiddly, but not as fiddly as most of the Nighthaunt models. Your how to paint guide, in all honesty, you know how to paint Stormcast Eternals by now if you've been following the magazine. The wings should be fairly easily done. Base coat them in white. I personally, with the wings, I like to have a bit of kind of colour behind them, so you could go with things like the Apothecary White contrast paint, which will give you kind of a grey bit between each kind of into each recess, and then dry brush back over with white. Or you can use one of your other contrast paints, depending on how you want it to be painted. You can get some really cool looks with them on them wings. So some really, really good stuff. And then of course using Radcar Flesh on the parchment if you wish to. You can use Wraithbone. If you use Wraithbone, use something like Seraphim Sepia over the top of it, and then highlight back over with Wraithbone, and it will make it stand out a lot better and make it look really, really cool. But you can get it looking really, really nice with this model. Even following this guide, it looks pretty decent. It doesn't look too bad. I think it just needs a little bit of kind of like neatening up, a little bit of more brightness behind it, and then it'll be perfect. That model would, especially on that parchment. I think it just needs to be a little bit paler, and then it'll work very, very well, personally. But that's my opinion, so you can do it how you really wish to. Decorate a base as well if you want to, which is always very, very nice to do and very, very good. Then into your tutorial, so you got stuff about allocating wounds and how to kind of dedicate where the wounds are going to go and everything like that, depending on who you are using and how each wound will go and everything like that as well. So you can whittle down your enemies with different wounds. Your Knight-Azyros War Scroll as well, so you've got this really cool page for that. It doesn't give you a Knight-Venator War Scroll yet though, but you can download most of the War Scrolls from Games Workshop directly if you wish to, which isn't always a bad idea if you need to get going with it. And then you've got all the different kind of abilities that they have. So of course they have the Illuminator of the Lost is one of their abilities. Casting the pure light of Sigmar unto the foe, the Knight-Azyros's allies let fly their arrows with greater accuracy. So which is kind of like a boosting kind of ability, so you boost anything that's a ranged unit around you. And then you also have the Light of Sigmar, opening the celestial beacons frontis wide. The Knight-Azyros allows the full majesty of Sigmar's light to scour the enemy. So you have the essentially two major abilities, as well as having the ability to fly and that Starblade as well. Really, really cool stuff. and it gives you a bit more detail of how them abilities work on the back of that war scroll as well. So very, very handy to have, especially if you're going up against demons, because it will do more damage to demons on that one. Your battle plan is one of the last ones we're going to get in Gyru, which is the gems and jade. So War for the Heartwood. So again, another kind of very Sylvaneth heavy battle plan. With this battle plan though, if you are going to do it, your Nighthaunt side of the army will be Knight of Shrouds, Dreadblade Harrow, Spirit Torment, 2 Chain Ghasts, 4 Mindborn Banshees, 4 Glaive Wraith Stalkers, 4 Grimghast Reapers, and 15 Chain Rasps. So quite a large battle that you're going to get going with that on there. With your Stormcast Eternals, you'll be using a Lord Arcanum on the Griff Charger, Knight-Azyros, 2 units of 4 Liberators, so 8 Liberators in total, 2 Prosecutors, 3 Castigators, and 4 Griffhounds. So it is an absolutely huge one. It requires 2 mats on there as well. No objectives, it is literally just smash into each other, and whoever dies and whoever has no units left on the battlefield is the loser. And then from issue 41, as we've discussed already, we move into the Realm of Metal, into Shaman. From next issue, really good stuff. So you're going to get new models, there's going to be new bits and pieces, some new scenery bits which I don't care about personally, but the new models are going to be really cool. So in this image you can already see there's Hex Wraiths, you've got good old Rakenor, and you've got some new Stormcasts as well, so like Farshiders and stuff like that as well. So you've got some really good stuff coming up, which from issue 41 we've got quite a few. We've got 7 new Stormcast models, really cool looking, really ornate. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on these. They should be really good stuff. So you've got a Lord Relictor, you've got Retributors as well on there, and then you've got a Prosecutor up there as well. And then in issue 42 we get a new brush, which is a small layer brush, and we get 2 new paints, and it's all about kind of going to teach us how to highlight models as well. So yeah, so if you're fairly new to it, you will find out a bit more about that. So happy days. So some pretty good stuff coming. Right, that's it for this video. There will be more videos this week, hopefully. But yeah, thank you very much for watching if you stuck with it. There's some good stuff coming from the magazine. Now we're halfway through. There are some really cool models to come. So you've got things like Lord Celestin and stuff like that to come. Yeah, some good decent stuff. Keep your eyes peeled for some really good issues in the future. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you very soon. Bye bye now.